Welcome to the Deep Dive. I'm really excited about today's topic, actually. It's something I think, well, it probably affects all of us, how we think. We're digging into how you can actually train your brain to think differently, fundamentally differently. Have you ever felt caught in those negative thought loops? Or maybe just felt stuck? You want to try something new, but maybe fear holds you back. Or perhaps you just want to feel a bit more confident, more positive day to day, more creative. If any of that rings true, then yeah, this deep dive is definitely for you.
And here's the really crucial thing right up front, the good news.
Yeah.
Your brain, it's not fixed. That's not just some nice idea. It's science. Your brain can grow, it can learn, it can change, like throughout your whole life, at any age. And that means you can grow too, not just in skills like, I don't know, learning guitar, but your habits, your decisions, even how you handle emotions, your dreams, really.
That changes the game, doesn't it? Knowing we're not just stuck with how we think. So our mission today is to give you, our listener, a clear path, some practical tools to really harness this amazing ability to change your own thinking. Okay, let's unpack this. How can you start reshaping your thinking, starting like right now? So first things first. When we say thinking differently, what does that actually mean day to day?
Basically, it means you're actively stepping in. You're changing your usual way of thinking. So instead of reacting to problems the same old way, those patterns we all have, you learn to ask different questions, look for different answers. You sort of open yourself up to growth. It's about breaking that cycle. There's a great example, actually. Think about the thought, I always fail. It's so common, right? And it just stops you in your tracks. But thinking differently means shifting that. Maybe to something like, okay, this mistake, it helps me learn.
Yeah.
Next time, I'll try this instead. And a little shift. It sounds small, maybe, but it changes how you feel, how you act. It can genuinely change where your life goes.
I really like that distinction. It puts the power back in our hands, And building on that, something that really clicked for me is this whole idea of mindsets. That feels like the foundation for all of this, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's the bedrock. Mindsets are basically the beliefs you hold about your own abilities, your intelligence. Carol Dweck's work on this is huge. She talks about two main types: fixed mindset and growth mindset. A fixed mindset is believing your talents are just set in stone. You hear things like, oh, I'm just not a math person, or I could never learn Spanish, or even just, well, that's just how I am. And that mindset, it makes you avoid challenges. You fear failure because you think it proves you can't. So why try? But then there's the growth mindset. That's totally different. It's all about development, potential. It sounds more like, okay, this is tough, but I can improve if I work at it. Or mistakes, they're just lessons, part of the process. This view encourages learning, growing. It keeps you moving forward because you see abilities as something you build with effort. Think about it like in learning English. Someone might think, I'll never be fluent. That's fixed. Compare that to, okay, I'm not perfect yet, but hey, if I practice every day, even just a little, I will get better. That second one, that's the growth mindset right there and training your brain. It really starts with noticing which mindset you're in and choosing growth. That's the starting line.
That makes so much sense. Our basic belief about ourselves sets the stage. But why is it often so hard then to break those old thinking habits, even when we know they're not helping? Why do we keep having the same negative thoughts over and over?
That's a great question. And it comes down to how our brains work. They love efficiency. Habits are efficient, right? They save energy. So mental habits are just thought patterns your brain has run so many times they become automatic. Like maybe you always worry before giving a presentation. That worry pathway is strong. It triggers fear instantly. It's automatic. Efficient, yeah, but not always helpful. But here's the key. The solution isn't just fighting it. It's about noticing that thought when it pops up.
Yeah.
And then consciously, deliberately choosing a better one, a more constructive one. You have to actively build a new mental road.
I love that analogy. The paths in a forest. That makes it really clear. So the old negative thoughts are like these deep, worn-out paths, easy to follow, almost automatic. But every time you choose a new thought, maybe a more positive or realistic one, you start clearing a new path. And over time, with repetition, that new path gets stronger, easier to walk. And those old negative paths, they start to fade away. They get overgrown because you're not using them.
Exactly. And what's really cool is this isn't just a metaphor. It's actually happening in your brain. It's called neuroplasticity. It basically means your brain can reorganize itself. It forms new connections, strengthens pathways based on what you think and do. Think of it like a muscle. Seriously. Exercise it with new thoughts, new ways of looking at things, and it gets stronger, more positive, more flexible. But if you stay stuck in the same old ruts, the same negative thoughts, well, it's like not using a muscle. No growth happens. So let's take that English example again. If you keep thinking, I can't speak English, and you consciously replace it with, okay, I'm learning to speak English, I'm making progress,
Yeah.
you are literally, physically building a new neural pathway for that thought. Scientists can actually see these changes, new connections forming, old ones weakening. It's real brain architecture stuff. It gradually reshapes your thinking, your skills, even your confidence. It's not just wishful thinking.
That's incredibly empowering, the idea we can physically sculpt our own brains. But okay, if our brains are so adaptable, why is it still such a struggle for so many of us? What actually gets in the way? What are the common roadblocks?
Yeah, that's the reality check, isn't it? Adaptable, yes, but we face some very human hurdles. A huge one is just fear of failure, that little voice saying, but what if I mess up? What if I fail? It can be paralyzing. Then there are negative influences. Sometimes it's other people, saying, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But often it's our own internal echo of those doubts, maybe based on past experiences. And let's not forget the pull of the comfort zone.
Yes, the comfort zone.
It's familiar, it feels safe, even if it's not getting us anywhere. Sticking with what we know, even if it's limiting, often feels easier than stepping into the unknown.
So how do we push past those? What do the sources say?
It starts with awareness, really noticing when these obstacles pop up. Then making small, deliberate changes, tiny steps. Like, instead of getting stuck on, what if I fail? Consciously flip the question. Ask yourself, okay, but what if I succeed? Or what if I learn something really important? Change your self-talk. Catch those absolute statements like, I can't do this, and soften them. Maybe, okay, I'm learning how to do this, or this is challenging, but I'm figuring it out. And crucially, be intentional about your environment. Surround yourself with positive input, people who support you, books, even podcasts that encourage growth.
I like the reframing idea, but okay, for someone really stuck, what's the absolute first tiny step? How do you practically start?
Like, it needs to feel achievable. Our sources give 5 really practical tips, like a little workout plan for your brain. First, ask better questions. Shift from focusing on the problem, why me, to seeking solutions. What can I learn here? What's one small thing I can do? This immediately changes your brain's focus.
Okay, asking better questions. Got it.
Second, write down your thoughts, especially the positive ones or the lessons learned. It makes them more concrete. It reinforces the new pathways. Even just noting, today I understood a tricky grammar point.
Yeah.
It makes the progress feel real.
Writing it down. Simple but effective.
Third, and this is surprisingly powerful, change just one word.
One word.
Yeah, like swapping I can't for I can try, or changing this is too hard, this is a challenge. It seems small, but these tiny linguistic shifts can change your whole perspective on something. Makes it feel less impossible.
Okay, change one word. Interesting.
Fourth, be curious. Actively look for new things to learn or experience, even small things. Every new experience builds new connections in your brain. So try saying, I've never done that. Maybe I'll learn something. Embrace novelty.
Be curious, like exploring.
Exactly. And finally, number 5, seek positive input. Be deliberate about what you read, watch, listen to. Spend time with people who lift you up, who believe in growth. Like the sources mentioned a woman, Maria. She started writing down her progress daily, listened to positive stuff like podcasts.
Like this one, perhaps.
Precisely. And she saw real improvement, not just in her English, but her whole outlook. These small things compound.
Those are great, concrete tips. Anyone could start with one of those today. But it sounds like consistency is the real secret sauce here, right? It's not a one-and-done thing.
Oh, you absolutely nailed it. Consistency is everything. This isn't about a quick fix. It's about building daily brain habits. Small actions done consistently that add up over time. Like maybe try one new idea related to your goal each day, just one. Or consciously think one positive thought, maybe about something you learned or achieved right before you go to sleep. End the day on a good note. Definitely practice reframing mistakes. When something goes wrong, actively ask, okay, what's the lesson here? Don't just dwell on the error. And affirmations can help too. Simple phrases like, I can learn, I am growing, I can think in new ways. Repeating them reinforces the belief. It's the daily repetition, the small, steady effort that really reshapes the brain long term.
That makes sense. Daily habits. And to really drive this home, I think hearing a real story helps. Our sources had a great example.
Yes, Amina's story. It's a perfect illustration of everything we've been talking about. Amina started out really believing she just wasn't smart, especially bad at math, she thought. Fixed mindset, classic case. So she struggled in school, failed tests, and her confidence just plummeted. Eventually, she basically gave up trying in that area.
That sounds familiar for a lot of people, unfortunately.
It really does. But her turning point came when she read about the growth mindset, just learned about the possibility of change. And crucially, she didn't just read it, she acted on it. She started consciously changing her thoughts. Like, instead of, I'm bad at math, she'd tell herself, okay, I'm learning math, I can get better. And she did that writing exercise we mentioned. Every day, she wrote down her mistakes in math, but also what she learned from them.
So she actively applied the principles.
Exactly. She put in the consistent effort. And the result? 6 months later, she passed her math exam. The very subject she thought was impossible for her. And it wasn't just about the grade. Her confidence overall was transformed. Amina's story just shows it so clearly. You don't need a different brain. You just need different thoughts.
Yeah.
And you can create those new thoughts.
Wow, that's incredibly powerful. What a journey for Amina. Okay, so wrapping this up, the big takeaway is your brain isn't fixed. It can grow, it can change. You have that power. And just one small thought, one tiny action, one new habit, if you stick with it, it can really start a huge shift in your life. You really can rewire your reality. Remember that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with, connecting this to the bigger picture. What's one tiny, almost invisible shift? Maybe in a thought you often have, or a small action you could take. What could you do today? Just one thing that might start reshaping your tomorrow. Doesn't have to be huge, just to start.
That's a great challenge. Something small today for a different tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. It's been fascinating. Keep learning, keep growing, and definitely embrace that power you have to think differently. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.